Thanks for joining us today to talk about user-centered design for VMware Tanzu. Today we will give you a quick overview of how VMware Pivotal Labs applies user-centered design practices in our platform development consulting services. We hope to leave you with some actionable items to help you improve the user experience for your platform. Okay, so let's get started. What is UCD? As you can see, UCD is a methodology that focuses on the needs of users, hoping to get the best possible outcomes and business value. Why should infrastructure and operation teams care about UCD when building a platform? It is vital for the success of your platform to identify the real goals and values for the people who will use your platform. We live in a rapidly changing world. Every time we waste time, it puts us at risk of missing our objectives. By focusing on the value proposition for the user, we begin to realize that there was a lot of waste in the process. By building a feedback mechanism, we are able to deliver meaningful solutions targeted to the problem at hand. It's user-centered and it's data-driven. Gathering data from users, including usage data, validates our next steps for the product. The bottom line is we give platform users what they need, not what you think they need. You may be asking yourself, how do I make this work for me? Let's break it down into 3 simple steps. Think, make, and check. We will go into each of these to make it as simple yet a comprehensive solution. We will start with the first step, think, and then dive into each of the practices. It's critical to any problem solving that we get a good, clear understanding of the problem we are trying to solve. But equally important to know who we're solving the problem for. Clear out biases and assumptions about the problem so that you don't end up designing for yourself. A product built for everyone is a product built for no one. Getting the right target is critical. In most of our consulting work, we have 3 common user groups: application developers, platform engineers, and platform operators. Let's pick application developers as an example. There are different techniques we can use to better understand this group of users within your organization. It's an important UCD practice to establish observation techniques, recording methods, developing probing questions, and good note-taking, helping us analyze behaviors both in person and remotely. We can run a survey to collect data about developers. Nothing can replace direct conversations with our users. Capturing the voice of users in their own words helps us understand their motivations, their daily routines, and how they solve their problems today. Focus groups, a forum for users to interact, where new conversations emerge. At this time, we have collected enough data to generate a persona of our users. Personas are fictional characters, which you create based on your research in order to represent the different user types that you might use in your solution. Now that we have a persona created for our user, let's follow them on their journey. By following a user along their journey, we can empathize with their experience, both positive and negative. As they move along the journey, there are valuable and non-value steps. This mapping process allows us to identify the pain points we could potentially remove and therefore improving the overall user experience. So now that we've been through the think practices, let's move on to make. This is where our ideas become tangible for our users. Ideation stage helps us to transition from learning the needs and transfer those into potential solutions. There are many techniques that can be applied to generate and develop new ideas. Next, prototype. Prototype is a quick implementation of the most representative and important functionality. This allows us to experience what it might be like if it was fully developed without the cost and time of creating the real solution. Sometimes we are dealing with the unknown. By setting up small experiments, we discover solutions we may never have imagined. The make stage is critical to the process of translating needs into potential solutions. So now that we have potential solutions, we need to validate them with our users. This step helps us to understand where we are relative to our targets. Validation is a constant activity that happens along the way while we work on a solution. When we observe how real users interact with our product, we gain a lot of information on what works well for them. We want to be informed by data when we need to make decisions. Usage data confirms the feedback from the user and validates the next steps. Make sure to reflect back and gather feedback on the design process. Find pain points and identify areas of improvement, and incorporate them back in your next iteration. Iteration, while not technically a step, it's what comes after you've run through the three-step process. So in review, keep your focus on your users and delight them. Follow the steps we've outlined. Think, make, check. Remember that your UCD journey is a continuous one. We're always striving for continuous improvement. So iteration and making improvements never ends. Let's put these learnings into a platform-related example. We've observed and interviewed an app team. We've identified a need in the digital team to have a self-service portal for VMware Tanzu Kubernetes TKGI. We hypothesized if a self-service portal would create value. We created a story to build an MVP and made it a priority in the backlog. We paired to implement the MVP solution that could be tested by users. We demoed the MVP solution to the digital team and onboarded 7 developers. We interviewed the devs and gathered feedback for improvement. We assessed the value of the new work. We then translated that into a prioritized backlog. We paired to implement improvements in the portal. We collected usability data to improve the usability of the portal. We automated a user feedback collection scheme for new onboarded users as the platform scales. We interviewed info security team. We identified a need to add SSO to the portal. We hypothesized how SSO could improve the user experience. We experimented with SSO integration options. We paired to implement SSO in the onboarding portal. You get the idea. Around the round. Thank you for your time, and I hope you will improve your client's platform experience by applying UCD practices. Please reach out to us if you'd like to learn more about our practices and techniques. Thank you.